Hello, welcome again guys to our ongoing series on remaking Going Home. We're calling it Going Home Revisit, as you can see in the folder name here. Okay, so if you remember in the previous video we had this problem with love loader. Let me show you what I mean by that. So that if we want to load fonts as well, like so, we're still going to make this function. Okay, so let's say we put this like test, then we say fonts to jamboree.ttf. The problem here is of course we have to put this in our asset manager. So let's create that function. So add font, and we don't need to give this any container parameter because all fonts will be in the assets manager font table. So what we want to do is list, and then first of all we want to iterate over each. So what we in I pairs fonts do, then we need to do some assert. So we are sure that we pass something here. Then also we need the size, so no size, and then we need loader new font, then put that insult.fonts, and then v.id, and then v.path, v.size. Okay, so the problem here is that we get this, we forgot to pass some size, so let's just say 32 for now. Okay, the problem here is we get this weird error, which is in the thread something part of the module, so I'm not sure exactly. So I've looked in the love loader mod repository, and in the issues I also found someone having the same issue. So the fix is that we need to open that and go to fonts, and then here in BM font we need to change request key font path to font BM data, font BM path to, and font and whatever resource key to font BM data. So you can see if we run this now, it doesn't have any error. So there you go. So now what we want to do is, instead of this one, we put this here. We're just going to copy this, so about this will be 32 as well. Also in our menu we want to copy this, put this here, and then name this menu, and then the size is 16. Alright, the size is 16. Okay, so I'm thinking, since we are sure that this is a pixel art game, we can now remove this 4kV that sets the filter. And where do we put that as well? In state splash we can remove this, and then in our asset in our asset manager. Wait, how do we close this? Oh no, we close. I don't know how to close that. Source. I forget the name. Okay, there we go. So every time we finish this, we're going to say self that like post process. Let's call this post process. Okay. So assets post process, we're going to say for kv in, or you know what, before we get it, yeah, before we get the images, let's do that. So remove this. Okay, so before we get the font, let's say self.fonts id set filter to nearest. So when we are going to use it, we do this, and then in the image as well. So self.images container. I know this is not the most ideal way to do this, but I'm going to for now do this, so bear with me. Self.images container, so this is going to be a loop. So for kv in pairs of that images container, right, do and do let's change this to v set filter. Okay, so if you run this, you should not get into any problem. So let's return to about, and yeah, so here we also use this now. So in menu as well, let's use that font, and there you go, there's no problem. Alright, so that's just a quick detour of what we're going to do right now. So what this video is going to be is about button classes. Okay, so as you can see, we have here button, so that is a class that we want to use. So like here, so we did the first part of that class the previous video, but it was cut short because of the rain here in my place. So we're going to continue this. So self-depth rotation will be, if you pass in rotation, that should be 0, and then scale x will be, just call this sx is equals to sx or 1. So that sy is equals to sy or 1, right? So that ox will be wait, let's fill this first. Okay, so xy, then we have rotation sx and sy, and then if we want offset, we can do offset in two ways. Like if we pass in ox like it is a string, right? So else if type, you know what, we can do this in another method. So it will be, so our constructor method will be clean. This is just me being over styling and over abstracting stuff. So process offset, so we pass in offset and off y, we paste that here. So we say self that process offset will be ox and then oy. Okay, so if we pass in a string for now, and then let's say if ox is equals to center, right? So we want to automatically get that. So self.ox will be self.image, yeah, this should be self, not self.image get width over 2. So for now, let's just do that. Self.oy, what's happening with my navigation? There we go. You should be get height. And now if it is not a string, if it is a number, let's just say self.ox will be ox, and self.oy will be oy. There we go. So next we can pass here like right, left, or something. Okay, so we have this now. So we have sx, self.sy, and then self.ox, self.oy. So we're not going to use the kx and ky for shearing because I personally don't have any experience using that Okay, so we have this now. Okay, so what we want to do is to check if our mouse is hovering this. Okay, so we're going to get that by using mx and my, and then let's just say love.mouse get position. So this function will return two values, so we assign the return values to two variables here. Then let's say if mx, or the mouse position x is greater than self.x, wait, we change the origin, so wait. Okay, so first let us use this. So we will use local objects, require objects. So objects doesn't have any initialized button, so let's just say objects button. Then let's just say here local button btn return. Let me create it. Let's create. So in load we do that. Let's say btn return is equals to button, like so, and then we pass in images that GUI return, and the position will be 32, rotation 0, and then the scale will be 4. Then we can just say center. Right, so instead of drawing this, we just need to say btn return draw. Job expected got nil. Why is that? Oh, it should be self.image. That's self.image. That's silly mistake. Okay, so it draws you. So it still draws you, right? Now, what we want to do is an update. Let's just say if mx. So this is how you do it. Like, okay, so I am going to open my paint, exactly, and literally named my paint. I'm going to open this, and there you go. Okay, so how do we check those collision? Say we have here a button, right? You have here that button. This is the logo. Wow, I perfectly drew it. Nice socks. Okay, so even though the image is a circle, it's actually a square, but this part just being opaque or not having any it's just the alpha is 0, so it's invisible, so we don't see it, but it's actually like that. Now this as well has x and y, width and height, right? Although we scale it, so we multiply this by x and sy, right? So for example, here we have our mouse. Our mouse is only a point in the screen, and so it's only a point. There's no width or height nor radius, so mx and y. So how do we check that? So we can do this in two ways. We can check the distance of this to this, and say if the length of the distance is 0, then that means we're in, something like that. So that's vector calculation. So I don't use that. So for now, what we can do is just basic point to rectangle or square, whatever you want. Point to rect collision. That's what we are going to say. Now we can do this like if our mouse is here, let's say this is 32 by 32, and this is like let's say 48 by 16, and the width, let's say for now we don't we haven't scaled it, so this will be 32 by 32 image, right? So as you can see, it this X does not match and this Y does not match. Okay, so if we have the image again here and then we have the mouse here, like let's say here, right? So the X will be like 47 and let's say 418. This is still 48 and 16, right? This is still 48 and 16. As you can see, nope, not matching. It means we're not inside, right? Because inside of this image or this rectangle means it is X 2. This is 2, not minus, okay? X 2, X plus width, and Y 2, Y plus height, right? So that's how you know we if a point is inside the area, the space that is within the rectangle. So 47 does not fall within the boundary of X and X plus width, or Y is not also within the boundary of that. So with that said, we know now that if we, let's say we have mouse here, right? So their X matches, right? X is now within the boundary of this, but the Y is not. The Y is not inside. And also if you are here, we can say also that X does not match, Y matches. And also if you have this here, so if we are here, X matches and Y matches. So just remember this boundary of X, I don't know what symbol to use, okay? So X to X plus width and Y to Y plus height. Why do we need this one? Because if you only put 32, but let's say you have this rectangle here, so the position is 48 in X. If you have 32, then 32 is only this, right? 32 is only this part. What we want to do is 48 plus 32. Okay, so we check by saying if mx is greater than if our point is greater than the minimum value of this, so that will be self.x. And so what if we are here? So yes, x is greater than the minimum value, but it went outside of the maximum value, this maximum value. So we still want to take that into account. So with, you can say greater than or equals and less than or equals, but I prefer not to. So we also need to check for the y-axis. So this is how easy it is to do that check. Okay, so let's say print. If you're inside, print. And it's not printing. You know why? Because we have not put update here. There we go. Button return a nil value. About 46. 46. Oh, it should be btn, not bnt. Okay. What? Field W is a nil value. Why is that? Oh yeah, we need to say self.image get width, self.height, self.image get height. But we need to take into account the scale. Believe me, we do. So as you can see here, if I'm here, wait, so for you to see clearly, we need to say else if we are outside, print 0. Now I'm going to show you something weird, right? So if we are here, we're 0, but we are still inside, right? We should be inside. But if we went past through the middle, it says 1, and then pass along like something a little bit further, we get 1, then 0. You know the problem, you know the way, so let's clear this, okay? So the problem is, right, here's our image. True, that the second time. Awesome. Not exactly. Okay. So we use offset x and offset y. I'm not... Wait, is this really called offset or origin? Got me thinking. So, right? So normally, this is the x and y position, right? And if you rotate this, this is the anchor point. It will rotate in this point. Since we used this, as you can see here, we have this value. They are not 0. Oh yeah, so if we wait, let me just add something for 0. So in case the user did not, what's happening? Okay, or 0. So the problem is we set that to be in the middle of the screen, in the middle of the texture, the middle of this rectangle, right? So this is now the origin point, right? So that's why when our mouse is here, it doesn't recognize this, because this becomes x and y. The x and y gets is now there, not here anymore. So that's why if you, so this now has this, so this part like becomes this part, and this part becomes this part. So even though if you're here now, it recognizes you're inside, but if you're here, it does not. Now, how do we fix that? Well, it's just easy as saying self minus self.ox, right? And this as well, let's just say self.minus self.ox. So don't worry if you have since the value of self.ox, so don't worry about stuff. Oh, why? I'm pretty sure this should work, right? So if I'm here, if I enter the square, wait, not yet, others. So a little bit we get this one now. Yeah, we get this one now. So the problem is, I think, yeah, we need to multiply this with width as well. You know what, let me refactor this. Just say x will be self.x minus self.ox times self.width. So why do we need to take into account scaling, right? So because if we are here and then we scale by 4, we get this, right? So we need to take into account the scale in both axes, because if you remember, if we are here, we pass in center, right? So here it says get width over 2. Now get width returns the original width of the image, but we applied scale. We pass in a scale of 4, so the width, what we see in the screen, the width and the height got multiplied by 4 by the scale, so we need to multiply the offset by 4, and then local y will be self.y, so we're still going to do that. So mx is greater than x, and mx is less than x plus self.width times self.s scale, so this should be sx and sy, and my will be x or y, and my will be that will be, I mean, if my is less than y plus self that y plus self that height times self that sy. Right, so we get now here 1, we went outside. There's still, come on, this becomes a much bigger problem than I expected. Wait, let me just recheck this. So mx greater than and mx equals to self. Yeah, we don't have any problem with the order of operation. So what is I'm really sure there's a problem with of that x. This is such a problem. Yeah, this is the first time I did this math. Or let's just do the other way around. I'm so sorry, I'm not sure what to do. Wait, so we have this, it gets drawn here, right? And then let's just use this. Let's just use this. Alright. How about we print? No, not m. Yeah, we print mx, my, and then x and y. Let's see the values. The values is 8 and 6, which should be 32. That should be 32. So I think we don't have to multiply that by, and here we have 26. So this should give us 30. No, wait. Yeah, the original value should be 8 and 16, right? So because we intend to draw it out by 32 and 32, so that becomes the middle. So this becomes 32, right? But actually we want to compare this. So the width is, let me print the width, the height of the image. 48 by 52. That is some weird number. So minus 48 over 2 is 24, and 52 is 26. So yeah, we got 8 and 8 and 6, right? We got 8 and 6. So yeah, we have no problem with this one. But this is what I'm talking about, such a problem. Okay, so for now I'm going to do some debugging stuff, like just draw a rectangle to show the box, the bounding boxes of that x, of that y, of that width, times of that sx, of that height, times of that sy. So come on, that is so big. So this is the box. How come it is that big? How come it is that big? Oh, we should not. I wonder why we multiplied by scale is that big. So we only have this, right? So what we want to that is weirding me out. So subtract by self dot ox times self dot. If we do this, it should align the x there, right? And if we, so there is our problem. We now see where the problem is. Wait, is that how the image looks? Let me just open something, okay? I haven't checked the asset if that is how it should be. Assets, images, GUI return. Should open this with a sprite. So where? So let's close this for now. A sprite. Open, no, not thumbnails. Project. So let's go to that folder, images, GUI return. Oh, there you go. It's not, the image is not trimmed. There we go. That is so shaming. So I'm going to do this for now. Since we're at it, we're in asset sprite. So this is trimmed, right? Is this trimmed? Yeah. Is this trimmed? I think it's because we have this. Why is trim not working? Oh, it has this this image. Okay, so there's no problem with this. How about this one? Yeah, we don't have a problem with that one. This one we don't have any problem now. This one as well. So these are poorly coded buttons. I think we should update this button. Such buttons, yeah, we should. Okay. Sorry about the fuss. So there you go. We should not multiply this by scale. I don't know why. Yeah, so if we're inside here, we get 1. If we're past here, we get 0. We get 1. Okay. So since we are, so self is hovered, this will be true, and then this will be false, right? So every frame we check, if our mouse is inside the button, it is true, it is hovered. If not, then not, of course. Okay, so let's if debug. So for now, let's have this. So that's a global variable, I know. Okay, now we want to check if the button is pressed. Mouse pressed. MX and Y, and then MB for mouse button. So we should. So this is why I really don't like doing object-oriented programming. I have to do this a lot of times. Like if you create an object, then change this, and then change this to many places. So there are solutions. Number 1 is to not use OOP. So another thing is we have like an object manager, like we store each object there, and then we integrate that with our game state manager, and we put so we just process them in one file. Anyways, so if we press the left button, if mouse button, if MB or mouse button is equals to 1, that means that is the left click. If 2, that is the right click. Okay, so if we press the mouse button and if so, let's just nest this. So if self is hovered also, for now let's just say print 3. And yes, because you know what, because in our game state manager we need to put, this is what I'm talking about, we need to put mouse pressed. You know what, do you want me to refactor this? I mean, yeah, I can refactor this, like saying in our initialized states. Okay, you know what, let's do this. So wait, do we really want to, no, never mind, let's just do this. I was thinking of my other project where I use event system, like just emit and then listen, so we don't have to type, we don't have to type all of this, we just have to register a function, then it takes care of the rest. So that is secret for now. I'm still testing its pros and cons. Once released. Okay. And we still don't get anything. You know why? Because in main Lua we still have to put that. Seriously. How many times do I have to put? I have to manage this. I hate OOP. No, I'm just kidding. I don't seriously hate OOP. I just don't love this part of OOP. I mean, come on, OOP is good. OOP is I don't want to get into any flame war, like, why do you hate OOP? You don't know OOP, this is good. Like, if you do this, if you do that, blah 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 blah. Yeah, if I do that and if I do this, that is what. Okay, so 3 works now, and now mouse release doesn't work. You know why? Because in our main.lua, mouse release gets called, right? When we release the button, this function gets called. Then we call this function, pass the same parameters we receive as arguments here in the game state manager. Game state manager, it calls self.current state mouse release. Now the problem is this state doesn't have any mouse release function. So what do we do? Of course, we have to put that into base state. Seriously, I don't even have to type these parameters since we are going to override this, but oh well, might just still OP the last time. Okay, so if we press here, here we have 3. If we press outside, we don't get any 3. Alright, so if we press this, what we want to do is also do this, right? So instead of copying this and putting this here, let's just say if self cb means callback on pressed, then if this function exists, self.cb on pressed, like so. So where do we get that? We put another function here, like button set cb set callback on callback on pressed. Okay, so on pressed, so that cb on pressed goes to cb on pressed. Oh wow, there we go. So if we click, we don't get anything, but here in button return, let's just say button return set callback on return callback on press, we pass the switch function. Now switch function doesn't exist because we still have to define this. Let's just say functions with, oh wait, it's going to be a local function here. Okay, so local switch, that will be a local function. So to do that, this is how I style or how I code. This is a local function, so I do this, and then we pass in, since we're not using any like self inside this, it's okay to use this as self. And then so if we press escape, we say switch, so we also pass that in callback on press. So if we press escape, it should work. If we return to about and then we press mouse button here, it should work. Awesome. Now we can get rid of this. Alright, so next we want to do, well, I think that's it. We finished. Oh, 42 minutes, come on. So that's it for now, guys. So we made a simple button class. I know we still can work on this more, but for now we're just going to code what our game needs. So what we need right now, we're going to code that, and then if it happens that we need something else, and then we implement that. So next, I think we need to implement sort of fading, like if we fade up, press here, yeah, we need to, or we need to add some delay in, we have to put some delay in before we fade. Actually, since we're still at 42 minutes, it's still literally less than an hour. So okay, let's just put here like a delay local. No, duration is different from delay. Okay, 3 seconds, just to show you what I mean. Okay, so before we do this clocks, we're just going to say delay. So yeah, we're still going to show that is what I mean. We're going to show that for 3 seconds before we actually move and fade. So I think that should only be one. Now one is longer, so that's 0.5. So just users can see, oh come on, it's loading. 0.9. You know what, we can also say, yeah, never mind. And then if debug is true, since we're debugging, we want to basically like skip that. So there you go, at least we see the loading screen. Alright, next. Okay, so next I think if you want the mouse button to interact with this as well, you have to change this into like another object so we can properly have mouse, or yeah, let's I think let's do that right now. So in menu state, you know what, for now let's not take that into account. Okay, so in our about state, not only is escape the button, we can also say or key is equals to backspace. Alright, so next we're going to do, no, we're going to populate about state next time. Okay, like add those other buttons. Okay, so this is what we want for now. Let's call it a day. And I'll record again tomorrow. Okay, so I'm terrible at goodbye, so see ya.